Hello everyone, Ayumilove here, back again with another Awaken Chaos Era video. In today's video, I'll be talking about what are the heroes that had the most impact to my game progression from early game, mid game, and until end game. And before I dive in, how are you guys doing with the hero promotion event? I've already completed mine and already collected all of the rewards from this hero promotion just by farming the adventure mode and collecting all those summoning shards and summoning those elite and common heroes to promote more heroes. And as you know, in this event, they also reward this Awakening Soul Arcana, which is quite useful in ascending the epic heroes. And the best epic heroes that you want to ascend would be Zatlux, since he is one of the staple damage dealers for most game accounts, including mine, even until for endgame. So, if you like to know how to promote heroes quickly, you can check out one of my previous videos on the hero promotion tips, where I cover one of the special features in Awaken Chaos Era, where I demonstrate how to perform a quick way in order to farm a lot of points within a short period of time. So do check out that video. Alright, so let's head over to the hero section. And there are 3 rarities. I'll begin from Elite, followed by Epic, and then finally Legendary. So let's head over to the Elite section. And I believe most of the players here are able to access one of these heroes because you can get them easily through by summoning the blue shards. Right, before I dive into the heroes that I commonly use for my game progression, do a comment below under this video on what are the heroes that has the most impact to your game progression as well. So it gives me an idea of what heroes that you guys use and what heroes that I didn't use, so I can do some comparison and perhaps maybe I can also test them out. Maybe I miss out some of the gems that I have not used. Alright, so without further ado, let's get started. So I'll start with the elite hero, followed by epic and then legendary. So for the elite heroes, the one that has the most impact to my account would be Charles. Because Charles is he's known as the solo god hero because he's able to taunt an enemy with a 100% success rate with his basic attack. That is quite awesome because this one allows you to lock down any enemy that deems a threat to your team. So let's say if the enemy has a nuker and you want to prevent him from using the ultimate abilities or whatnot, you just use Charles and plug him there. If there's an enemy hero that always revive their allies, you can use Charles to lock them down just by using this base attack. And in order to consistently apply this taunt, right, you need sufficient amount of focus stat. What I mean by focus stat is this one. This is the stat that allows you to apply effects on others. Effects means effects refers to the negative effects such as taunt. So it is quite important to have sufficient focus to allow him to perform his role well as a single target crowd controller. And the best part is he's pretty tanky due to his special trait. I think passive skill is it? Yep, this one. His shelter passive allows him to gain 20% additional defense for every hit that he taken. So I think this one, his rage counter is maximum of 5. So 5 times 20% it will be 100% defense. So if you were to do some calculation with his stats, let's say if the enemy hits him 5 times, his total defense will be double. So instead of 1461, it'll be around about 2922. Which allows him to mitigate a large amount of damage from hitting his health. That makes him so super strong for early game progression, because the enemy cannot take him down, and he can crowd control the enemy. He can crowd control the enemies that such as in Queen of Tides. He can prevent the left side guard from applying the joint attack, or you can use him to prevent uh the right side guard from healing the boss. You can use him for all kind of situations. I also use him for Void Tower Heart to control one of the toughest enemy heroes up to floor 1 to floor 100 using free to play team, which includes him. Alright, so basically I gear him in a Revival set and Raptor set. Raptor set provides him additional focus, so focus, as you know, is important to provide him with sufficient focus stat to apply his taunt. And Revival set allows him to sustain himself along with his shield. His ultimate ability grants him a shield for 2 turns with strength skills based on this Charles defense, which makes him super tanky. Hence, that makes him one of the best elite hero that you must build, because he allows you to progress in game, in dungeons, in Void Tower, as well as Bounty Hunt. If you have troubles in Bounty Hunt, just use this guy. This guy can just lock down the boss or any heroes that you find that troublesome with. Alright, so this is Charles. The next hero that impacted me most would be, say, Rogge. Rogge is something similar to Charles, but he's more towards a damage dealer. He deals damage through 2 methods. One is his combo chop that deals damage based on this character's max health. And the best part is he has a special trait which is called Retaliation, which deals damage equal to 10% of his max health. So if you have trouble dealing with the AoE attacker heroes or any enemy that perform large amount of joint attacks, you just throw in Rogue inside your team and he'll deal massive damage based on his max health. You just need to stack up as much health as possible, so he'll deal a lot of damage through his health. If you were to calculate this, 10% of his 22,000 health would be around about 2,200 damage per hit or per retaliation. You do not need to care about speed or critical rate, just stack as much as health to deal damage. And the most powerful thing that Rogue is capable of doing is this. And the best part of this retaliation as well as his combo chop is both of his abilities deals true damage. What does it mean by true damage? True damage means it just basically ignores the enemy's defense. So let's say for the previous Void Tower rotation, where they have this rune mark that boosts the enemy's defense by 50%. This one, the combo chop as well as his retaliation, just bypasses those defenses. And oh yeah, and this special ability is also shared by Charles, where Charles is also able to apply true damage through with this one, Commanding Fury trait. So every attack that he does, regardless of his basic attack or his ultimate ability, it will deal an additional damage along with this one as true damage based on 30% of his total defense stats. And if you ascended him, you'll deal 50% of his defense, which makes him a great candidate for a tank team. So usually, previously how I cleared the Void Tower normal is I just use Charles, Rogge, and a healer such as Rodira, and support debuffer such as Hulens to just clear up the enemies in Void Tower command from floor 1 to floor 100. These are the basic staple heroes that can just clear the wave easily without using much intensive gearing. So that is my second hero. And also Rogge can be used to he's quite useful in Queen of Tides, where the enemies likes to perform a lot of joint attacks. The left side guard like to apply the joint attack buff on his companion, the right side guard. So each time they attack Rogge, he will deal damage to them, which makes the run faster to knock down those enemies. And the third hero in the elite section would be Valuk. Valuk has a special ability such like similarly to Charles as well as Rogge. Valuk has the ability to apply poison, one stack of poison through his passive skill called Corrupting Roots. So each time the enemy attacks them, such as the Roaring Tupa who counter attacks or the Tight Guards perform the joint attack, each attack has the chance to trigger this poison. Plus, Valuk has the ability to apply poison through his basic attack, which allows him to stack multiple poison on the enemies and deal damage based on their max health. So at end game content such as like Gemini Dragon 12 or Queen of Tides 12, you can just put Valuk inside and he'll be able to deal massive amount of damage to their health. And he's also useful in what's it called? Ruffle Flirt. I can't remember the name. I think it's Ruffle Flirt. Let me check the name here. Yep. It's also used in the No Man's Land Ruffle Flirt, where each time the enemy perform what's it called? The bubble attack or the torrent attack, he can also apply the poison. So that is my third hero. And who else? Oh yeah, and Rodira. Rodira is like the mini version of Blackhorn because she has the similar kit like Blackhorn where she applies the attack down on her basic attack, which reduces the damage output from the enemies. And she is also capable of applying defense up, which significantly reduces the damage that the enemy deals to your heroes in your team. Plus, she has the ability to remove a negative effect. Although she's not as powerful as Blackhorn, where Blackhorn is able to summon a totem which cleanses away one negative effect per round, she's able to cleanse away all of the negative effect from an ally. And this healing also scales based on this character's max health. So during early game, if you do not have Blackhorn obtained from either the advanced summoning shards or what's that called from the Magic Pass Season 1, if you're a new player, you might not be able to get this Magic Pass because previously the first Magic Pass was Blackhorn and you can obtain him just with 10 USD dollars. Alright, so Rodira is one of the best elite heroes because she provides AoE healing. And there are not many AoE healers for the elite section because there's only two of them. One is Rodira and the second one will be Connor. Connor is obtained from the Covenants section, which is this beautiful lady sitting at the tavern here. So if you click on it, you can find Connor here. You just need to complete this quest in order to obtain him. Right, let me move back to the elite section. But currently I'm not using these two heroes much during endgame because I'm currently using the revival set which I have farmed through Queen of Tides. So it allows me to slot in an additional attacker or debuffer instead of having a dedicated healer to heal the team. And when all of my heroes are in a revival set, this makes them not so beneficial to the team if I would like to clear the enemy waves quickly. However, there are some circumstances where I'll still need to use Rodira paired with another healer such as Blackhorn or Connor in case the enemy deals too much AoE damage, and that's when I'll need to bring them in. Or there's another scenario where if the enemy applies too many negative effects such as like Chris Urzak, who has the ability to apply unhealable, and then it's important to have at least two cleansers to remove this unhealable because it will prevent the revival set from healing the heroes. Unless you can build your heroes with high resistance as well. So there are a couple of strategies to work around one of these issues. But during early game, Rodira is one of the staple heroes for starting out in the Queen of Tides stage 12, no, stage 10 up to stage 12. And if you're lucky to get Blackhorn or who's that called Mitasia, or you farm a lot of revival set, then you can replace Rodira with an additional support hero or attacker hero. So I've already covered around about 4 heroes: Charles, Rogge, Valuk, and Rodira. Then who else? Alright. The next hero on my list will be Joseph. Although Joseph is level 50, but I mostly use him as adventure speed farming or void tower speed farming. Because Joseph has the special ability, I think ultimate ability, improvisation, which applies attack up and defense up to all team members for 3 turns. This 3 turns allows your attacker heroes to have this buff for the first 2 waves, and when it comes to the 3rd wave, Joseph is still able to apply this attack up buff and defense up buff, which makes your heroes fully covered with this defense up, and their attack are boosted by 30%. Joseph is the only hero that is able to apply this 3 turns buff. Even the legendary hero Brand is only capable of applying 2 turns only. Apart from that, Joseph is also able to remove all negative effects from an ally, similarly to Rodira, and when he is able to do that, he grants a bonus turn to that particular or to that specific hero. So previously, how I started in game to farm those to clear those adventure mythic, I pair Rodira with Joseph, along with 2 attacker heroes. So I started with Valeria, who is one of my rookie legendary heroes that I've obtained from clearing the 2-8. I think chapter 2, floor 8. And Valeria. She's one of the best legendary hero for speed farming. Later I'll go over her. But before that, let me complete the elite. She's one of the best heroes for speed farming. Alright, let me get back here. Oh no, I'm disconnected. Hopefully I can get connected back. Alright. So Joseph, I mainly use him for speed farming. But he can also be used for some stages, I think in Ash Magistra, to remove the negative effect as well as to apply the attack buff and defense up buff. But I have not used him there yet, because I mostly use him for speed farming the adventure campaign. Corner is quite good as well, since if let's say if Rodira is facing against stronger elements such as like fire heroes, I will then replace her with Corner.
There is only one true lord of Orakh.
Previously, I did not previously I used what's it called? Previously, I started to use Corner before I knew about Rodira, because most of the people are talking about him very highly, because he's able to heal all team members, and this one kills the team members 3 times based on this character's attack. Although the skill description is not so accurate, basically it should describe it as 3 times. It heals a lot. This ultimate ability just basically heals your heroes to full health, especially for DPS or attacker heroes. For tanky heroes such as like Corrupt Orakh, it maybe heals them until like 75 to 80%, which is a significant healing. And next, he has a Berserk banner, which is his special ability that applies the attack up buff similarly to who's that called? Joseph, and also applies shield. This shield allows your heroes to tank those damage such as enemy AoE attacks. But if you obtain Brand from the Advanced Summoning Shard or from the Magic Pass, not sure which season, Brand will just replace him, because Brand has better attack up boost and defense up boost, as well as shield. And if you ascend him, he gains additional 20% attack, which makes his healing and shield even better. But once I have my heroes all in the revival set, I do not use Conan that much already, along with Rodira. Then Hulens, yes. Hulens is not used mostly for early game, but he has his special, what's it called, special abilities, which is used for special niche usages, such as against heroes that who heals themselves or applies or relies heavily on buff to protect themselves. So although I do not use Hulens, but during the close to mid to end game, I mostly use Hulens there to clear the Void Tower hard, Void Tower common for certain stages where there's like where the enemy has two healers that constantly heal themselves or apply the positive effect like a last shield such as Brand. He is useful in those situations. There's a special trait called Curse, which applies the no positive effect. This is super powerful. If you use him against the right enemy, the enemy will not be able to use any buff to protect themselves. He's also great against like those legendaries that relies on protection buffs, such as Yolanda. Yolanda is able to apply massive amount of shield to herself and allies, so you can prevent her from by using this trait. The second one would be the healing block, which is his basic attack that has an 80% chance to apply unhealable for 2 turns. And this one is great for speed farming the Queen of Tides, where the right target will always heal the boss. And this one will just prevent it. And for the remaining special abilities and ultimate abilities, I do not use them much. But the cool part about this ultimate ability is if you pair Hulens with another debuffer hero such as Charles, and let's say you make Hulens slightly slower than your first debuffer, then he can duplicate those negative effects. So for instance, let's say your Charles has taunted or crowd control one of the enemies, then Hulens come in and he duplicate that taunt to another enemy. And that makes him Charles able to taunt 2 enemies at one time. That's the power of it. And it's not only just taunt, he can also duplicate like poison, freezes, all this crowd control, negative effects. And this one is so powerful. In other games such as like Raid Shadow Legends, they would not allow you to duplicate crowd control abilities because it's too overpowered. But for this one, I think it's balanced because it's a 5 turn cooldown. Alright. So the next hero would be Mary. I only use Mary in what's it called? Ash Magistria speed farming. And that's basically it. I do not use her in arena or in any other areas. I only use her I think during mid game to end game just to basically to speed farm the Ash Magistria only, but no other usages. So this one is like specific niche usage. So I would not recommend to build her for like early game progression. It's mainly for like mid game to speed farm Ash Magistria if you are able to synergize with her with another epic such as Nathalia. And I think there's a specific team to speed farm the Ash Magistria, which is the Ice Wolf, Nathalia, her as well as Santis, who's another epic hero. And for the other heroes such as like Rujago, basically I was just testing him along with Hulens. And he's also quite good in reducing the damage dealt by the enemies through his demonic tenacity, which is his special trait that allows him to inflict attack down for 2 turns on an enemy at a 100% success rate if he's ascended twice. So if you are unable to obtain good gears with high amount of health stats or defense stats, then you might not be able to speed farm with Hulens, but you will begin with Rujago. And Rujago, I think he's much more easier to tank the damage because I think he has a higher health base stats. Let me compare a bit. Oh, I think it's the same. 5000 health. This one has 500 defense. This one is like slightly lesser defense, but it's still okay. But for mid-game players or early to mid-game players, I would recommend you to build Rujago instead, because in order to use Hulens in a speed farming team such as like Queen of Tides, he really needs intensive gearing with high amount of health, defense, speed if needed, as well as focus. But for Rujago, it's slightly easier to build because he applies this attack down. And also he has the same capabilities as Hulens, which is to apply the unhealable. But he's not able to apply the no positive effect. So it's slightly slower because the boss will always apply this water shield on herself to protect her from additional damage when she performs the whip slash or the water whip. So for Rujago, I think it's mostly for mid-game progression. For Freya, CC, just testing them out. I did not use them that much at all. For Kaluk, he's quite good for what's it called? There's one area that he's quite good at because he has abilities to remove a buff. So he's quite good in Lord of Holy Light because the boss there will apply buff on himself and you cannot block it with no positive effect such as from Hulens. You will need to manually remove them through skills. So for early game, if you need to farm some like light gems, like crystals or light obsidians, you can use Kaluk instead of Kane, who is an epic starter hero that you obtain him, I think, by clearing the adventure storyline. And he's also used in Queen of Tides to remove those joint attack as well as the buff on the boss. I'm not sure about Gemini. Oh yeah, he can be also used in Gemini Dragon to remove those furry positive effect on the boss. But he won't be useful in Armor Incursion or the Guild boss because the boss that applies the attack up buff on himself, those are unremovable. So Kaluk will not be useful there. So this is, I think he has his trait. Where is this one? This one, Botanical Trait, which allows him to have a 100% chance to remove one positive effect from the target when he's fully ascended. Not fully ascended, when he reaches the second ascension here. So basically, I level up him to 50 because I was testing him in Gemini Dragon, but his base stat is pretty low and very difficult for him to survive for like Gemini Dragon 11 or 12 unless you have very good gears on him. Oh yeah, for the starter hero Zachary, I remember using him paired with Valeria, but since during my early games, right, I used Valeria and Zachary, but I found out that it's redundant because I have one attacker hero who is fire, such as Valeria, and I have another one which is fire again, which makes the run not so optimized because there are certain adventure stages where you will face a lot of water heroes and you need water element heroes to defeat them. That's where Celine comes in. Previously, it was quite difficult to clear those stages because from campaign stages, from starting I think from 6 to 10, mostly there's like water heroes where Valeria and Zachary can't do much damage on them. So that's why I've promoted Celine to level 50 to help me in those areas. For Abbott, I don't really use him up except for what's it called, the Endless Trial, because I cleared Endless Trial level 70 using just a free-to-play team which consists of Rodira, our main AoE healer, and 2 attackers such as Charles and Rogge, and a support hero such as Hulens. But there are some cases where your heroes already stuck up 5 what's it called, the five effects from the endless trial, and you need to replace them with another hero. So that's where Abbott comes in. It's great when you have artifacts that allows him to deal multiple turns or multiple attacks on using his basic attack. Because his basic attack allows him to heal one ally who has the lowest health based on this character's max health. He's not able to remove negative effect, but he can apply immune that prevents future negative effect from applying on your heroes. And he is also one of the key to complete one of the campaign secret rooms to collect those legendary 4-star gears. So that's basically it. So my top 6 heroes or top 7 heroes will be Hulens. Hulens 1, Rodira is 2nd, Rogge is 3rd, Honor is 4th, Charles 5. Oh, and I haven't talked about Ravyn. Ravyn is basically a good poisoner hero, similarly to Valuk. And she's able to apply a higher success rate of poison compared to Valuk. Valuk is only 50%, but Ravyn is 80%. And the best part is it's a 3 turns instead of 2 turns, which makes her quite viable for Roaring Topa. Stage 10 up to stage 12 when paired with Santis. And if you have her in curse set, I think this one is curse set. She has a 35. It provides her with a 35% chance to perform her basic attack again. So if you can see here, if she performs a basic attack, she can apply 1 stack of poison 3 turns and apply a second poison stack. That means it's like 2 poison stacks, which makes her quite powerful. So what I usually do is I'll just disable Ravyn's abilities so that she just uses a basic attack. It's also quite usable even at level 50. If you have negative negative or weak element hero in your team for Roaring Topa to divert the attention from her. That allows her to survive even longer in the battle. If you do not have a dedicated healer, I would recommend you to gear her in a revival set so that she can heal herself. So Ravyn, I use her for speed farming Roaring Topa, along with Santis, Zatlux, as well as Hakrin. And you do not even need her to be level 60 because most of her damage is dealt through poison, and poison deals damage based on the enemy's max health. So heroes that I use for early game would be Charles, Rogge, Connor, Rodira, Joseph, Valuk, and I think Valuk as well as I think only 5 heroes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. These 7 heroes. Hulens, Charles, Valuk, Rodira, Rogge, Connor, Joseph. And for mid game, I use Mary, Hulens, and Ravyn, as well as Rujago. The time I use Rujago first because my gears are not good. Then I slowly replace with Hulens once my gear gets better. The rest are not so useful, but you can keep them for hero synthesis because like Evelyn here is used for one of the hero synthesis to build the heroes. I think it's Hakrin. So that's basically it for the elite heroes. Probably I will make a part 2 where I cover heroes. Alright, so we have completed the elite hero section. Let's move on to the epic heroes.
My suffering has no end.
Alright, so we are now in the elite section. So there are a couple of heroes that you might see familiar. So the most frequently used heroes from early game is Santis. She's one of both hero Santis as well as Hakrin, because they are available through hero synthesis. And if you do not know what hero synthesis is, you can access it in the altar for those newbie players. So basically you can summon Hakrin as well as Santis from this hero synthesis. What is hero synthesis is basically a hero fusion where you collect these 4 heroes, level them up to level 30 and ascend them 3 times, and only then you can fuse this hero like Santis as well as Hakrin. And these heroes are quite accessible. You can get them through the blue summoning shards, which is this one. Just click on the summon, and these are the summoning crystals. And when you click on it, you can summon these heroes up. If you're lucky, you can get a rare an elite hero, but mostly is the common and elite heroes, the grey one and the green one. So these are the greens one. The rare and the common one will be the grey one. So I'm not so lucky to get any elite heroes here. Let me just quickly finish up. Maybe I'm lucky to get one. Oh no. Probably my luck is not that great. Oh yeah, see? So after summoning 70 summoning crystals, I managed to get one hero here, which is Rujago. So you might get the necessary heroes for your hero synthesis. Alright, let's move back to the hero section.
The truth is always hidden.
So I mostly use Santis as well as Hakrin for Queen of Tides when I begin farming there. But for early game players, you might not be lucky to obtain these 2 heroes through advanced summoning shard. But from long-term farming in the adventure, I think it's adventure mythic. I think there's 3 difficulties here. Let me move back up. There's common, hard, and mythic. By completing common, hard, and reaching mythic, you'll be able to farm lots of summoning crystals, and you'll get there one day to summon the epic hero, which is the Santis and Hakrin.
My suffering has no end.
So what makes Santis quite popular is she is one of the best poisoner heroes to apply tons of poison to an enemy. She applies poison through her basic attack, known as the Void Contact, which applies 1 poison stack for 2 turns. And as well as her Void Dustin ultimate ability, which applies 1 stack of poison to all enemies. And it also prolongs the duration of all poison effects on enemies by 1 turn. So if you have, let's say, a poisoner to pair with her, such as Ganjelo, or Ravyn, or Valuk, she will increase the duration of their poison debuff, and also apply hers as well, which makes it super powerful. The best part is her trait ability Void Encroachment allows her to have a 50% chance to apply an additional poison on top of her basic attack. And if you ascend her, I think 2 times, I'm not sure, ascend her 5 times, she has a 100% chance to apply the poison, which makes the run much more consistent in speed farming, like the Ash Magistra 12, Queen of Tides 12, Roaring Topal 12, and Gemini Dragon 12. And also Wish of the Wind. She's used almost every Arcane Dominator dungeons. That's the best part of her. That's why it's best to collect those heroes to synthesize her if you're not lucky to obtain her through the advanced summoning crystal. And Hakrin is one of the best support heroes to boost up all of your heroes' survivability, because Hakrin has a special trait that grants 10% of this character defense rating, or 20% if you ascend him twice. So let's say if you were to calculate that, his defense is like 3200, and if you were to get 10% of this defense on all of his allies, that would be additional 320. And 320 is like equivalent to like additional artifact or gears placed on them. So 320 defense is like 1 additional cape on your heroes. And if you ascend him twice, that would be 20%. And 20% is a lot of defense. So let's see, right? If it's 20%, that would be a total of 640 defense. If you were to take this as an example, let's say my Hakrin now is 3,267. Let's simplify it as a 3,200. If 10% of it will be 320, 20% will be 640. And 640 defense is like equivalent to equipping 3 chest plates, which makes him a super powerful support hero to boost up your hero's survivability. And a part of that, he has this ultimate ability known as Totemic Charge, which boosts up all of your hero's max health up to 45%. Each max health up stats provides additional 50%, and 3 stacks of it is multiplied by 3, it will be 45% max health. And he also has a special ability known as Taunt that deals massive amount of damage through his defense stats. And this one allows him to taunt an enemy, which makes him a great crowd controller for speed farming the Queen of Tides stage 14, where you can pair him Zatlux with him, as well as 2 poisoner heroes such as Gangelo and Santis. He's one of the staple heroes for Gemini Dragon to boost up your defense stats as well as increase the max health up. And then I think, yep, one more hero would be Zatlux. He is obtainable from the Covenant section. So if you were to head back to the tavern here, there are 4 heroes in the Covenants where you can get them for free just by completing this quest. The first hero you will get will be an Elite Hero Corner, followed by Asrina. Then the third would be Zatlux. And the last one would be Sarah. Sarah will be much more difficult to obtain her because you need to clear the Void Tower on Heart for all the 100 floors. So let's get back to Zatlux. So in order to get Zatlux, you need to perform all these 4 quests, and after you completed them, then you need to challenge Zatlux in a battle. The hardest one would be to complete this endless battle by doing 200 arena battles. But I think this one is possible to complete within a month. For the defeating 200 bosses, you can do it by completing or clearing the the No Man's Land dungeon bosses, which is an easier way to complete the first quest. And for the obtain 50 items 5-star gears, this one you can obtain them from the PO3 Party of 3 event, which occurs randomly during the day, as well as you can get the 5-star gears from completing the quests like the Evelyn side quest or the Foodie star quest. So the only challenging part would be the endless battle and prepare your supplies. Alright, let's get back to the hero section.
The truth is always hidden within.
So the 3 main heroes for early game progression would be Santis, Hakrin, as well as Zatlux. And you use them all the way to end game. What makes Zatlux special is he's one of the best speed farmers for adventure speed farming, because he has a special ultimate ability that resets his cooldown upon killing an enemy. Not many heroes in the game have this this unique ability that allows him or her to reset the ultimate ability upon killing an enemy. There are only 3 heroes in the game which is that has this ability, which is Zatlux, Nathalia.
This is gonna be so much fun.
Nathalia also has this ability: if the enemy is killed, this ability's cooldown is reset. And the third hero that has this would be Valeria.
There's no room. Do you fear the
So this is
power
Valeria's
of
ultimate ability, Eye of the Cursed One, that grants a bonus turn upon defeating of an enemy. But it doesn't have the reset here, but her trait allows her to reduce all ability cooldowns by 1 turn. So if she or her allies kill 3 enemies, it will reset this cooldown by 3 turns. Alright, let's go back to the epic.
Resist me? Do not be silly.
So for mid-game progression, I use Nathalia to speed farm along with Zatlux and Valeria, and paired with a support hero such as Joseph.
This is gonna be so much fun.
So recently, Nathalia has this skin, which is only available for closed beta testers. Quite a unique design, quite nice. And her hair clip is with a dragon clip. And some blue potions. Alright, let's get back to the hero. So Nathalia is useful for mid game, followed by Windstrex, Lunar Melizza. Who else? Antinua. Antinua is mostly used for some areas in the game, such as like Void Tower and Bounty Hunt, as well as a guild boss. But she's not commonly used. Frequently used in like speed farming. For mid-game progression, I will recommend you to build Nathalia.
The Book of Runes preserves me.
She is similar to Zatlux. She's used to speed farm the Ash Magistra. Windstrex and Lunar Melizza are paired together
Fear of the forest.
to clear the Void Tower, Common and Heart, as well as Arena. These two are the staple heroes for Arena. Then you might see some of my videos that showcase Virgil. If you do not have Gangelo, you can use Virgil to apply this negative effect called Sanction. Arcane Sanction allows him to deal damage on the enemy, 30% of their max health, which makes him quite good to speed farm along with Santis. But this one is he has only this niche usage. Other than those areas, he doesn't have much usage. But you can also use him for Arena because he has a very high base speed, and you just need him to go first to cut in the enemy Windstrex, to apply silence to prevent the enemies from using their ultimate abilities on your heroes. So you can use him as a crowd controller as well. I seldom use him after I obtain Windstrex. So for Nathalia, let me quickly go through her skills. So basically, she's a powerful epic hero because of her trait, Arcane Energy. For every positive effect this character has, the abilities affect one extra enemy. If they have more than 4 positive effects, it will affect all enemies. So basically what this means is you just need her to have 3 positive effects to attack 4 enemies, and you want to attack more than that, you need to have her with 4 positive effects. I think the description here is not so accurate. I think you need more than 3 to affect all enemies in the battlefield, especially for the Ash Magistra, where they have these fire minions. If you want to clear all of them, you need to have at least 4. Not more than 4. I think it's 4 positive effects. And Nathalia is not that strong for... when you first start out, right, she's not that powerful because she doesn't have this ability if you do not have her ascended. So I would recommend you to not build her unless you are able to get her to Ascension 2. Only then she'll have this ability to deal extra 10% damage per positive effect. Otherwise, you might find it weird why your Nathalia deals so little damage even though you gear her with high amount of attack stats and critical damage. Like previously for mine, during my mid-game farming in Adventure Mythic, I do not use her at all because she deals too little damage, even with a high amount of attack stats and critical damage. But once after I ascended her twice using the Awakening Soul. Is it Awakening Soul Arcana? Let's quickly check the naming. What's the naming of the potion? Is it in here? Where is it? Oh yeah, found it. So this is called the Awakening Soul Arcana. It's a spiritual essence of the original gods of Orelica. It's used to ascend fire, water, or wood epic heroes. It does not apply to light and dark heroes. So do take that in mind. Let me check again. Awakening Soul Arcana. Okay, got it. So you will need to have at least 2 Awakening Soul Arcana to ascend her twice to get this special ability. Same goes to Zatlux. You need to ascend him twice to gain this attack buff. This attack buff is quite useful to clear those minions in Queen of Tides stage 12 as well as the Roaring Tulpa. Alright, so let me get back to Nathalia. So once you are able to get Nathalia to 2 Ascension, then you can speed farm the Adventure Mythic easily. And you need to pair her with Joseph, or Joseph is the best hero to pair with her because Joseph is able to apply a buff on her for 2 waves. Then he'll refresh it on the 3rd wave. And if you do not buff Nathalia with any buff from the support heroes, all of her attacks, right, will only attack 1 enemy. So do take that in mind. And if you have equipped her in guard set, you will not need to pair her with a support hero because the guard set will provide a shield buff, which allows her to trigger this arcane ward. The guard set will apply 1 buff, then when this one detected that she's buffed with a positive effect at the start of the turn, she will automatically gain this attack buff and immune buff on herself. And when she has 3 buffs, she can attack 4 enemies in the battlefield. Alright, so that is Nathalia. For Windstrex, she's mostly to cut in the enemies. She allows your heroes to boost up all of her heroes' speed, as well as applying the attack buff to all of her allies using this Roaring Gale ultimate ability. With this ability, she allows you and your allies or heroes to go before the enemy's turn, which is useful especially in Arena and Void Tower Hack. And the best part is her special ability allows her to reset an ally ultimate cooldown. So this one pairs well with Lunar Melizza because Lunar Melizza has a very long ultimate skill cooldown. So by pairing Windstrex with Lunar Melizza, she can crowd control the enemy to all the enemies twice. And Lunar Melizza's role here is basically to crowd control the enemies to prevent them from using the ultimate ability. And she can also stun the enemies, which makes her one of the best candidates for stopping enemies from using their skills, especially in Void Tower Hut and Arena. But she doesn't have much users for her trait. Her Moonblaze trait allows her to reduce all of this character's ultimate ability by 1 turn or 2 turn when ascended. But you want to avoid having your ally being killed. That's the most important part. So this trait is not so useful for her. Hopefully Ace developers can change this to something else which is much more useful. Alright. Have I went through Zatlux skills? I think not yet. So Zatlux is one of the epic heroes that you can obtain from Covenant's quest. And he has a special trait which is known as Bloodthirst that allows him to reset all of this character's ability cooldowns. And he only has 1 skill that has cooldown, which is his ultimate. He doesn't have any special abilities here. And his passive ability, Assassin Training, is one of the best passive skill that I've seen. It grants 30% critical rate as well as 30% or 30 precision. So if you look at the, what's this called? The total stats of Zatlux, you can see that I have him at 92% critical rate, but you do not need him to have more than 70% critical rate because the assassin training critical rate, right, is not calculated within the total stats. So you need to take note in mind that you just need to have him to 70% critical rate, and the additional stats can be placed into attack or more critical damage or more health for survivability, or additional speed if you want him to take his turn before an enemy such as the Queen of Tides Tide Guard. And his Blade of Death is basically provides him with a speed up buff, which is useful in certain areas. I think it's only for Roaring Topa or in Arena. But this one can be a double-edged sword if you fight him against with, what's that called? God Fairy. And when Zatlux applies this speed up buff, God Fairy will just lock him down, will prevent him from using his Fist of Carnage ultimate ability. If you do not know who is God Fairy, it's one of the legendary heroes that players obtain him through the one of the summoning events. So let me show you the hero, but I'm disconnected from server again. Too many disconnection. So I was lucky to obtain God Fairy. So he's one of the Archbird. Or is he an owl? Looks like an owl. So basically, God Fairy has a special trait, Rage Stasis, that deals damage to an enemy who receive a positive effect and has a 50% chance to extend the cooldown on the target for one turn. But when ascended twice, it can has a 100% success rate to lock them down, to prevent them from using the ultimate ability. So Zatlux opponent, or one of the opponent to fight against is God Fairy, because it prevents him from using his ultimate ability. Alright, so let's head back to Epic section. So let's recap. So for early game progression Epic heroes, I will highly recommend you to build Santis, Hakrin, Zatlux, these three heroes that you need to focus on. For mid game progression, then you move on to Nathalia, Windstrex, and Lunar Melizza. For niche heroes such as Orakh, is used for Roaring Topa and some stages in like Bounty Hunt or Void Tower Heart. But I don't use him that much because he doesn't have much usages, because most of my heroes who are poison heroes overtake his role easily, because poison deals damage much more consistently and throughout the battle, compared to Orakh, who manages to only deal enemy max HP damage, but only for one time, and you need to wait for 4 turns. Whereas for poison negative effect, you constantly deal damage to the enemy, which makes Orakh not so useful for those areas such as like bosses that is time limited, such as like Roaring Topa. He has a massive shield, and if you do not break it on time, or you do not sync up him with his ultimate ability, then the Roaring Topa will just nuke out all of your heroes. And same applies to Gemini Dragon. If you do not deal much damage to them, or you do not pair him with certain heroes such as Celine, who applies a negative effect to amplify the damage by twice, then the boss will just nuke out all of your enemies. So if you want to use Orakh and to optimize his damage output, it's best to pair him with another hero such as like Celine. But he still has some usages, good usages against what's that called? The wood element heroes such as like Mitasia for Void Tower Heart, or against tanky heroes such as like Celestial Kane, who has the ability to apply heal on himself through his basic attack. Jacob is another niche hero you wouldn't see him much in like arena battles or PvE mob battles. He's mostly used for bosses such as like guild boss or what's it called, the Bane Wraith. So the only usages I use him, Jacob, it would be Bane Wraith, as well as it can be used for Roaring Tupa, but you charge up the Roaring Tupa counter bar. I think if the Roaring Tupa boss receives 6 attack, he will counter attack. And he's also used mostly in armor occasion wood as well as fire. I'm not sure why everyone rated him quite high for Gemini Dragon. Because each time you hit the boss will gain 1 furry. And 1 furry increases the boss attack stats up to 5%, I believe. 5 to 10%. And you hit him 10 times, the Gemini Dragon Fury will become permanent. So either you pair Jacob with Zidane if you want to clear Gemini Dragon quickly. So Antinua is another like niche usage where she's useful to take down tanky heroes. So if you're facing trouble in certain stages in mid game where you need to clear a tanky hero in Bounty Hunt or Void Tower Heart, she's one of the best heroes to deal massive amount of damage to a single target. So if you were to look at her skill, Soul Shatter's ultimate ability, it deals 200% damage. And if this character has a Unicorn Blessing, which gained through her trait, it allows her to gain a bonus turn. And during this bonus turn, you can use this basic attack Precision Shot to deal double damage. Because when she has this Unicorn Blessing, she can deal a bonus attack. And paired with a curse set, you can deal double attack. Alright, so that's Antinua. So for other heroes like Rickard or Kane, they have a very niche usage. So if you need them for particular place based on the skill set, such as like bear trait to absorb some damage, then you can build him for those specific role. Oh yeah, now you can also obtain Asrina from the Covenant's area, similarly to Zatlux, but her damage output is quite low because the Ignite deals damage based on her total attack stats. Even though she's recently buffed to allow her to counterattack at a 100% success rate and has a 100% success rate to apply the Ignite, it's still not that great. The launch 4 strikes dealing 12% total damage. The only use case I see her would be in Roaring Tupa since she's a stronger element there. But there are other better heroes to replace her, such as like Orakh or legendary heroes such as Hector or the new legendary hero that was recently introduced, Carol, who can deal massive amount of damage with a piercing attack. So I will hope that the Ace developers will revamp the Ignite negative effect to deal much more damage to them, or maybe change the mechanics of it. If you want to reliably use her in Roaring Tupa, you need to farm better gears with high amount of attack stats, critical rate and critical damage, and some focus for her to land those ignites. Otherwise, she's not so useful in those areas. me check through. Alright, for William, although William is highly rated in most players or most content creators tier list, I rarely use him because of I have a better heroes in my team. He's one of the heroes that allows me to reach level 20 cube boss without good gears because of his ability to apply the defense down as well as the counter attack buff, and allows to perform a joint attack using his basic attack. And he also amplifies the damage of all of your hero's basic abilities. It's mostly used for speed farming, the the No Man's Land dungeon along with Ciara, as well as I think he's used in some areas in the game for like Ash Magistra farming. But for most of the time, the players would use Ice Wolf, who also is able to apply the the counter attack buff. So if you do not have William, you can use Ice Wolf, who is one of the common hero who also able to apply this counter attack buff. Alright, so that's William. William is also used for guild boss to amplify the damage of your heroes as well. For guild boss, speed farming, the No Man's Land as well as the Arcane Dominator for certain stages, such as the Ash Magistra. So that's basically it for my epic heroes. And Scarlett is this lady. He's paired well with Jacob because each time your heroes attack an enemy who has this bleeding effect, he has a wolf to perform a bonus wolf attack. And this one is her special trait, Pack Leader, which allows Scarlett to be accompanied by a wolf at the start of the battle. A wolf will deal 30% damage to the target with a 50% chance to apply bleeding. And if you ascended her, then what's this called? All enemies would receive 50% more damage through bleeding. She needs to have at least 5 ascension to allow them to receive 50% more damage. And the best hero to pair with Jacob would be Scarlett, as well as Earendil. So each time your heroes perform an attack, he will perform a joint attack as well. Okay? Like Earendil, special passive ability, Vanishing Strike. When an ally lands a critical strike on a single target, this character uses this ability to launch a bonus attack on an enemy, dealing 50% damage and grants 1 rage. And this rage will increases his critical rate, and if it exceeds 100%, it will be added to the critical damage. So Earendil is like more a niche usage hero, where you pair with Jacob, Bolin, and Scarlett to deal massive amount of damage to guild bosses, as well as No Man's Land bosses such as Bane, Wraith. So if you want to speed farm those areas, you can build these heroes. This is more for like end game niche usages. For Hugh, I just built him to test him out, to speed farm the adventure mythic areas, in case if players do not have Windstrex, you can use him instead. For a decrease, I didn't test him much because he's mostly used for removing buff, and there are not many heroes in the game that uses buff that much compared to Void Tower Heart. So a decrease is another like niche usage hero. Same applies to Lordred. is one of the epic hero used in the previous Void Tower rotation because he has this special trait ability. I think it's this one. Mark of Vengeance. Remove all control effects from this character when this character is affected by control effects such as like Lunar Melizza taunt, and has a 100% chance to use an ultimate ability to counterattack. So each time you crowd control him with freeze, stun, silence, he'll automatically use Frostbite, but it only triggers for one time per round. And the good part about this is his Cold Steel Clan allows him to restore 10% of his max health at the start of the turn, and or 20% if he's ascended twice. So those are the heroes that I commonly use, who are Hakrin, Santis,
My suffering has
Zatlux,
even death.
Nathalia,
The Book of Runes preserves me.
Windstrex,
Let the wind suck.
Lunar Melizza,
You are permitted to fight the darkness.
and Antinua.
Come to help as promised.
Oh yeah, talking about Rickard, he's used to speed farm No Man's Land dungeons along with Sarah and William. So Rickard deals massive amount of damage through his Give M the Hammer ultimate ability, which deals true damage based on 80% of his max health to all enemies. So the lesser amount of enemies, the damage will be distributed less. So if he's attacking only one enemy, 80% of his damage will only go to one enemy. So let's calculate it. So if 80% of this 24,000, it will be around about 20,000 damage dealt to an enemy, especially for bosses. I think it's 18,000. Let me do some quick calculation. Yeah, around about 19,000 damage to a single target enemy. If there are 4 enemies, you'll be divided by 4, which means around about 5,000 damage per enemy. Alright, last but not least, we'll head on to the legendary hero. And the legendary hero that impacts my account the most will be Valeria. Valeria is one of the most versatile AoE nukers in the game because he has this ability, Eye of the Cursed One, that deals damage and grants opponent's turn when she defeats at least one enemy. And she will subsequently use her Scarlett Fist that deals additional damage and heal herself up to 35% of the damage dealt. The best part is, each time an enemy is killed by her or her ally, you'll reduce all of her ability cooldown by 1 turn, which makes her one of the fastest legendary hero to reset their cooldown to AoE nuke the wave. So if let's say if you're using her for Void Tower Heart, you can easily clear the first 2 waves and have her ultimate ability ready for the 3rd wave. The next hero I frequently use would be Evera. She's one of the legendary heroes, one of the few wood element heroes that has AoE attack, and she's useful in clearing tanky heroes in the Void Tower part, as well as to speed farm the Adventure Mythic. So when you pair Valeria, Evera with Sarah, you can speed farm all the Adventure Mythics in less than 1 minute. Probably close to 42 seconds at the highest stage, high chapters like chapter 9, chapter 10, very quickly, and paired with a attack up buffer such as Joseph. So what makes Valeria powerful is her ultimate ability. Deals damage to all enemies and grants her up with an attack up buff. So if she's not buffed with any attacker hero, she can self-buff up herself with this attack up buff. Plus each time when she performs an attack, such as like Thrust or Fall, it allows her to launch a bonus attack with Gunfire. And each time she performs these attacks, she will gain 1 rage, and when she accumulates 4 rage, she can perform an artillery support which is like another AoE mini attack that deals damage to all enemies, 40 to 60% damage. Alright. So I mostly use Valeria at the beginning of the
Nothing can stop me.
game progression as my AoE damage nuker, paired with Hydrisia.
Ice shall rule this
And Hydrisia was also I obtained her through the Advanced Summoning Crystal, and she's also recently available through the Magic Pass season, I think season 2 or season 3, along with Evera.
no prey and no pay.
Probably there's a chance where Valeria will be also
Hear the power of
available in the next future Magic Pass or Battle Pass. Alright, so these are the 3 best AoE nukers: Hydrisia, Valeria, as well as Evera. But for early game progression, I obtained Blackhorn through the Magic Pass or the Battle Pass Season 1. And I use him to farm the Roaring Tupa as well as the... I think for mostly all of the Arcane Dominator dungeons. If you were to check my history here, if you click that stage, you'll notice that I use Blackhorn in most of my teams, such as Roaring Tupa, stage 12. I have Hakrin, Santis, Blackhorn. For Ash Magistra, Blackhorn, Santis, and 2 AoE nukers. For Wish of the Wind, I also use Blackhorn there. For Gemini Dragon, stage 11, I use Blackhorn here as well. And for Queen of Tides, stage 12, I also use Blackhorn there. But these are my latest team, which I used to speed farm the stage 14. As well as for Gemini Dragon. That's why you couldn't find the Blackhorn used in these 2 areas. But during the early game, I used Blackhorn to clear most of the Arcane Dominators along with Hakrin and Santis. Alright, so let me change back to Sarah. Alright, so that is my 4 heroes. So what makes Blackhorn special is because he's also able to apply the AoE heal similarly to Rodira. And he also places attack down, but it's a 100% success rate compared to Rodira. And the best part is he has this special ability called Nature's Shield that summons a totem for 3 turns. And it heals all of the team members as well as removing 1 negative effect from them. Which makes him quite powerful because even though he's crowd controlled by an enemy, he has this sidekick or summon totem to help to perform the healing as well as the cleansing. And he's this special trait known as Gaia's trait, which heals him for 8% of his max health each time he performs any ability such as his basic attack, special ability, or ultimate ability. Previously, I mistaken that this ability heals the allies, but it does not. It only heals himself. So basically, that's the 4th hero. 4th legendary hero. Alright, let me select legendary first. And okay, for early game progression, I'll use Blackhorn, Valeria, and Hydrisia. I only use Evera at a later stage because I only obtained her through the Magic Pass. So all of these 3 AoE attackers, they can use from early game, mid game, and end game, end tower, such as Void Tower Heart. And then for 4 heroes, I also use Sarah. I recently received Sarah after completing the Void Tower Heart. And Sarah is amazing. She just basically speed farms, help you speed farm adventure areas, No Man's Land dungeon, as well as for those areas that you need to farm resources, she makes it even faster. I sometimes replaces Hydrisia with Sierra if I just need the extra damage to clear up the wave quickly. Okay, so I think Sierra and Corrupt Orakh is mostly used for end game content. Yep, Sierra, Corrupt Orakh, and Brand. I do not use Brand that much compared to most players in the game because I have a Windstrex and Lunar Melizza to do most of the job that Brand does. Because I think my heroes are pretty slow, that's why I still rely on Windstrex to boost up my heroes. So for endgame content, I will use Sarah, or this lady, as well as Corrupt Orakh. Corrupt Orakh is quite tanky because he has this he has an S rating for his health, and he can easily gain high amount of health stats. I think up to 25 to 30,000, depending on your gears. And with the support from Hakrin and his special ability, he can reach up to 50,000 health easily. This is his special ability that grants him max health up for 2 turns, which grants another 20% max health. What makes Corrupt Orakh super powerful is because he has this trait ability, Darkness Approaches, that deals 5% of this character's max health to all enemies as true damage, which basically ignores their defenses. And if you use Corrupt Orakh and equip him in a Rebel set, he can stun all of the enemies at the beginning of the round. However, Rebel set only has a 20% chance to apply stun, and the bad part about it is you will need to have some focus stat. Focus stat is this one, that allows him to apply the negative effects such as stun on the enemy. So if you will want to use Rebel set, you will need to use you need to have Rebel set with some focus substats, or use, yeah, basically that's it. Either use a focus necklace permistat, or have all of your Rebel sets with some focus stats to apply the stun. And his ultimate ability also deals true damage to an enemy. It deals quite a large amount of damage, and plus is able to silence and remove all of the positive effects, which makes him quite a dangerous hero against the enemy. However, his disadvantage is all of his attacks that deals damage based on his attack stats, it deals very little damage. So I would highly recommend you to build him with high amount of health so that he'll deal massive amount of damage through his Darkness Approaches, as well as his ultimate ability. So I mostly use Corrupt Orakh for endgame content or arena. And Sarah is also for mostly endgame content. And if you manage to obtain Sarah through advanced summoning shot, probably you can use her to speed farm some of the No Man's Land dungeon easier. So probably Sarah could be an endgame content hero or a mid-game hero. And in order for her to deal massive amount of damage, you need to farm gears for her. Especially you need to equip her with every set. It's best to use every set since it deals 50% more damage on AoE attacks, and is best placed on AoE nukers such as Sarah, Hydrisia, Valeria, and Evera, because all these 4 heroes deals AoE damage. And it also applies to the recently added hero, which is Bulin. Bulin Mischief Ultimate ability also applies AoE attack. And she's one of the best hero to speed farm the Bane Wraith if you do not have William or heroes that perform multiple counter attack. So Bulin is best paired with joint attacker heroes such as Jacob, Scarlett, and Earendil. So it will charge her up her charge Chain Lightning to deal extra attack. But her damage output is pretty low, so you need to pair her with heroes that deal a lot of attacks or bonus turn. So Bulin is more like a niche hero, which you can use her for certain areas to speed up the game or speed up those dungeon runs. And also she's recently used in one of my videos, such as to speed farm the, what's that called, the Queen of Tides stage 14, along with Evera. Because Evera is a good pairing with her. Because Evera deals a lot of bonus attack. I think there's bonus attack on her skills. See, like if Evera is affected by attack above, then launches a bonus attack. So each bonus attack that she does will increase the rage counter on Bulin. And the next hero that helps me progress in game quickly is Gangelo. Because Gangelo is the best poison hero in the game. Because he amplifies the damage twice through his trait ability here. So his trait enhancement agent enables all enemies to take 50% more damage from poison. And once he ascended twice, all enemies will take 100% more damage from poison. Basically, it's like if you apply one stack of poison, his trait allows him to like attack like two poison instead. It's like similar to applying 2 stack of poison, but without filling up the negative effect counter up to 10, because the enemies have a maximum debuff counter of 10. So you can't apply more than 10 poison on the enemy. That's where Gangelo comes in to enhance the damage output of these poison negative effects. And Gangelo is also used to speed farms the Queen of Tides stage 12. He can apply the no positive effect to prevent the right tag guard from receiving the joint attack, as well as to prevent the boss from applying buff on herself, like those resistance up, defense up, critical resistance up, and so forth. And he has a special ability to apply to remove all positive effect, which makes him useful for Gemini Dragon to remove his furry. So I just recently get Gangelo and able to ascend him twice. So if you are lucky to get Gangelo early, he can help you speed farm starting from mid to late game, because you need good gears on him like Revival Set, or pair him with a healer such as Blackon or Rodira for additional healing, in case you don't have sufficient Revival Set. For Cyrus, I do not use her much. She's more like a niche usage hero. Cyrus deals a lot of damage based on her chain execution, but you need very, very good gears with high attack stats. And in order to get those attack stats, you need to farm lots of gear before you get there. So probably the best approach is to use Poison Team to farm the gears from the dungeon. And once you have a strong team to speed farm, then only then you can start gearing your attacker heroes with the gears that you obtain from those dungeons. So the heroes that I explained earlier, those are the heroes that I mostly use in my account. For like God Fairy, he's mostly a niche usage. For like Arena, I did not use him much because I don't find him many areas that I use him. For Savannah, I was just testing it out to pair with who's it called? The Lightwing Zachary, to boost up his attack stats whenever she gets killed. So Savannah basically have a special trait, Resentment. When she's killed, she grants 50% of this character's attack to a random ally. So if I were to ascend her to twice, she is able to transfer 100% of her total attack stats to a random ally. So if I pair her with a Lightwing Zachary, she can transfer like half of it to Lightwing Zachary to deal much more damage. And when she's ascended twice, that's like 5,300 attack on your attacker hero. I've also heard that she's also used for Guild Boss, where she's paired with Windstrex to reset the cooldown of this one, Curse of Agony, to deal more damage to the enemy, especially for Guild Boss. But I think Antinua is much more better hero because he deals much more damage through her ultimate ability as well as the basic attack. And if you use Curse Set on Savannah, which is able to reduce all of cooldowns quickly too. For the remaining heroes such as Geralt, Gobek, Tia, Abaddon, and Lydia, I seldom use them because I do not have use case for them. Alright, so let's do a recap on the heroes that has the most impact to my account. I'll just quickly go over them to give you an overview of the heroes that I have and which one I use the most often. So starting off with the elite heroes, I use Hulens for the application of unhealable and no positive effect against heroes that relies heavily on positive effect. Rodira as my healer, as well as a cleanser. Third would be Connor. He's one of the easiest elite hero to obtain from the Covenants. Number 4 would be Rogge. He's one of the best tank units against and the best elite hero to counter attack the joint attack and AoE nucleus. The 5th hero would be Charles. He's the best single target crowd control hero and quite tanky. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 would be Joseph. He helps me a lot in speed farming the Avenger Mythic. 6 would be Mary. Since I probably use her during mid game to farm the Ash Magistra to get sufficient every set for my AoE nucleus. And 7 would be Valuk. He's here to apply poison during the early game when I do not have Santis. So these are the 4, 5, 6, 7 heroes. And the honorable mention would be Ravyn as well as Rujago. Rujago is replaced with Hulens once I have better gears. And Ravyn is replaced with Ganjelo once I have a better poisoner hero. So this is my 7 main heroes plus 2 honorable mentions. So let's move on to the epic heroes. For epic heroes, I mainly use Santis as my poisoner, Hakrin as my support hero to buff up everyone's defense stats, as well as to increase their max health up to 50%, or to be exact, 45%. Nathalia as well as Zatlux are my main damage dealers. For Arena as well as Void Tower Heart and other areas in the game. And my main supporter heroes will be Windstrex, as she is able to apply speed up boost to boost up my attacker heroes who are pretty slow. As well as Lunar Melizza to crowd control the enemies to prevent the enemies from attacking my attacker heroes. So that is 6 epic heroes in my account, and the honorable mention will be Jacob, Antinua. This is Jacob. This is Antinua. She's best for taking down single target tanky heroes. Virgil. I was using him before Ganjelo to speed farm the King of Tides dungeon. Orakh. I use Orakh for the Roaring Tupa to deal a massive amount of damage to break his shield. And Jacob is nice to be paired with Scarlett as well as Earendil to speed farm the guild boss as well as the Bane Wraith. And some honorable mention would be Hugh. He's one of the heroes that can apply the AoE speed down along with Hydrisia. So if you do not have Hydrisia, you can use Hugh to slow down the enemies so that your attacker heroes can take their turn to nuke them down. Alright, so 7 plus 6 would be around about 13 heroes. And the next 7 legendary heroes would be... The first one would be Blackhorn. He is here to help me to progress mostly in the dungeons because previously I do not have a Rodira build up. So Blackhorn is one of the best heroes to cleanse away the negative effect quickly, as well as to provide massive amount of healing. So these 3, like Hydrisia, Valeria and Evera, are mostly used for adventure speed mythic farming, as well as to clear the enemy waves in the Void Tower Heart. So that helps me progress mostly for endgame as well. Angelo, I recently obtained him, so he helped me speed up my dungeon farming quickly. And who else? And Korok Aura is mostly for endgame content because it's quite tanky and quite pretty slow, so he helped me to clear up the more difficult contents, especially for Void Tower Heart. And finally, Sarah is to help me progress more quickly, since now I can quickly speed farm all those No Man's Land dungeons to quickly get all the resources to skill up my heroes quickly, and also to speed up my adventure mythic. Since she has a faster animation compared to Hydrisia. So whenever the enemy health drops below 50%, she can quickly wipe them out easily. Her skill is like similarly to Zachary, but this one, she needs the enemy health to drop below 50% to trigger her trait. Do let me know in the comments below on what are the heroes that has the most impact in your account. Probably different accounts will have different heroes. Probably you're much more luckier than me to obtain better heroes such as like Urian or Imogen. Thanks for watching this video. If you like this video, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and hit the bell for notifications. I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye!